So, guys, tonight I got, I'm going to call him my good friend because I know we're going to be good friends. I've met this guy on Instagram. I got Terry Harden the second. What's going on, Terry?
Nate, I appreciate the nice introduction, man, and I'm grateful to be on your show tonight. Thank you for having me.
Man, so glad you're on here, man. You guys, I found Terry on Instagram. Follow him on Instagram. Just connecting to dads, different podcasts, things like that. And guys, I really found that there's a tribe. There's dads out here. It's a community of fathers that out here that's bonding together. And Terry was telling me about the tribe he has of
Absolutely.
dads that's bonding together to influence each other. So Terry, I read a little bit. Just reading your bio a little bit. So you just tell the people about Terry. Who is Terry Hart?
Absolutely. Well, first off, again, Nate, thank you for having me. To the people out there that's listening, we appreciate y'all tapping in with the Father's Authority. As Nate said, there's dad tribes out here, and I'm grateful to be connected with Nate and hopefully continue to build a network and grow with you, Nate. To those that are unfamiliar with me, I'm Terry Harden the second at Just a Dope Dad on Instagram. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a man of God. I'm just somebody that's truly out there trying to share my journey in life. And I have many different aspects that I touch on and try to inspire in all. So if you come to my Instagram page, you're going to get a little bit of weight loss information, how I changed my life and my health by dropping close to almost 200 pounds within the last almost 2 years, because it was important to me to be a healthy father. You'll see my family. You're going to see some of my wife. You're going to see some of my kids. You're going to see us on there maybe dancing, doing some TikToks. And really, man, I tell you what, I try to never put myself in a box. I try to be very transparent when it comes to social media, and share who I am, the things that make me happy, which again is you're going to see some workouts. You're going to see me, spending some time with my family, and you'll see me just really having fun. I try to inspire others because I know what it feels like to be on the other side of both, right? When I'm talking about, health, but also when I'm talking about fatherhood and everything else. So I make it a point to try to showcase a positive image of Black fatherhood, Black marriage, and just positivity in general. I'm a firm believer that we can put positive energy out in the atmosphere. And when you do it, it come right back to you. So I try to put as much of it as I can, when I can. I'm not perfect. I'm human just like everybody else, but there's a lot of negativity, going on in our world. So I figure if I could be a beacon of light and showcase some positive images, whether that's of my family, whether that's of me dancing, hitting my shimmy, doing whatever it may be, if it puts a smile on somebody's face, man, I've done my job, man. So I would say during the pandemic, God has truly allowed me to find my purpose. And that's just having fun and inspiring in everything that I do. We all got gifts. We all have a purpose. And when you find it, man, there's no greater feeling than being able to pour out into the rest of the world, and share what God has given us as far as our gifts. So we'll get into it, Nate, as we go. But I say overall, man, I'm just who I am, right? When you see me on social media, I'm not trying to push an agenda other than just showcase a positive image of life, in many different aspects. And I try to touch base, like I said, with other fathers out there, but also showing that family's cool. I mean, when you talk about fatherhood, you talk about marriage, there's so many different stigmas when it comes to it in the African American community. And I want to showcase all of it, that, you can still be a Black father and have fun. You can still be a Black husband and have fun. And again, we just, not that they're not out there, because we talked a little bit before we started, Nate, they're out there. We just don't see a lot of those images.
Right.
I'm not afraid to share and showcase my family, man. If that means inspiring somebody else to be like, man, you a dope dad. And that's actually kind of how my name started, man, just a dope dad, because I would have so many fraternity brothers or friends being like, man, like you make dad look fun. I can't wait till I'm a dad one day, man. You really a dope dad. And that meant a lot to me, because it meant that I was showcasing that you can still be cool, still have fun, and do those things. So I'm out here having fun, man. And social media has become like an outlet for me to do it. So I showcase it on my social media. Just a dope dad. I also have, it's called Dope Black Dads LLC, Nate. And every morning I post a positive quote, or daily affirmation on Dope Black Dads LLC. And that's just my way to pour in the father. So that way, as you're waking up to start your day, you have something positive to start your day off of. And again, it's a quote. It started off with just helping me out. I would look up quotes for myself. I'm a firm believer of affirmations. So they're plastered around my man cave. I'm looking at them every morning. I share them on Dope Black Dads LLC. And then I also have another Instagram account where I'm with one of my fellow weight loss brothers, and it's called My Bro Ain't Heavy, and we share affirmations on that as well. So I'm really, really big on, you got to put it in your head, put these
Got
positive
to.
into yourself, man. And I figured if I enjoy them or they help me, they can help other people. So I'm big on sharing those on my other social accounts as well. So
That's good, man. You said a few things in here that I could hit on, man. We could talk all night.
hey, take it wherever you want, Nate. I'm with you, man. We can have a conversation tonight.
So let me ask you, what does fatherhood mean to you, Terry?
Fatherhood means to me that I have the opportunity, Nate, to be able to lead by example. I tell you, for me, fatherhood is so much bigger than just the title. It's what impact am I making on my children's lives? Like
Mm-hmm.
what imprint will, when if I was to leave this earth tomorrow, what will they remember about me as a father? Um, as a father, it really, becoming a father changed my life, Nate, because I knew my life was bigger than myself. It now
Mm-hmm.
gave me a reason to live. It gave me a reason to protect, these little young lives. I was talking to somebody on one of my lives the other week, and I'm like, even the way I drive is different, knowing I have children,
Mm-hmm.
because I have these lives to protect. Man, they truly, they look up to me. They as kids, they're gonna follow my example in this household. So overall, being a father to me is, man, it's one of the greatest titles that I was ever given. I would tell you, God had to make me a father to help me change my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful that He did, man, because it has allowed me in so many ways to evaluate myself. Right, what
Yes.
kind of person am I? A lot of people don't talk about that, but when you become a father, as we talked about it, your kids are watching you. It makes me look in the mirror and saying, like, do I want them to be like me? Am I leading by
Mm-hmm.
example? So as a father, my responsibility is wide. I mean, I have 3 kids, and I have to make sure that I treat my daughters a certain way, that I raise my son a certain way, and that they see the example that I'm living every day, not just the words that I'm speaking, but also by my actions. So my hope, Nate, is that as I'm waking up every day, man, I tell my kids every day I love them. I want them to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to guess it. I don't want them to, wonder. You're going to hear from me every single morning is, good morning, daddy loves you. As I leave, I love you. Before I put them to bed, daddy loves you. I want them to hear that. I want them to feel that, because I think it's important for them to be loved. So fatherhood, man, it's hard to pinpoint, just one thing, because it means so many different things to me, man. It's a huge responsibility. But one of the greatest responsibilities that I was ever given. I'm grateful that God allowed me to be a father, because it truly has changed my life in so many different ways, man. And my fatherhood journey, I'm still learning. There's no perfect or blueprint to being a father, man. So I tell you, we talk about what we gain from our fathers. We talk about father figures, but going through this fatherhood journey on my own, I'm seeing that everybody does things differently. I'm learning
Yeah.
stuff every time I interact with a different father. I'm taking away something that maybe I didn't know before, and it's helping grow and develop me as a father. So as a father, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning, but at the end of the day, my responsibility is bigger than myself. It's to make sure that my kids, my wife, and everyone else that I interact with, they walk away being like, man, Terry made an impact in my life in some way or another. Being a father, man, probably one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me.
Man, I feel the same way, man. I like to say I get to be a father. I get to be Caleb's dad, and it's
Yeah,
an honor that I wouldn't trade for the world. My son, and you said something key. My son, he watches. He's a daddy's boy, so
yeah,
he watches everything that I do, and he tries to imitate everything I do. And I also tell him every time, every morning, "I love you, son, Dad." I tell him all the time. I say, "Caleb, I love you, right?" Of
yep,
course I do, Daddy. You know, he
yep.
said, "Of
Even
course."
as sons, I mean, I tell you what, it's important to tell our sons that, right? I mean, that's a whole nother thing too, Nate. We can get down the path of, but like as men, sometimes we don't hear that as much from
Right.
men and stuff like that. So I told myself when I became a father to a son, I never wanted him to question it. I never wanted him to guess. I want him to hear it come out of my mouth, man, as a man. And it's okay to share emotion and tell your dad, your uncles, your cousins, your friends, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
love you. You know what I mean? Because tomorrow's not promised to any of us, man. And we should be able to say that. So I think it's important that I like that you said you tell your son that, man, because sometimes as men, we feel masculine and it's,
Right.
like no, my son, he gets embraced with love on the daily, man. He gets hugs. I get a little boy kisses and stuff,
Yep,
man.
me too. Me too.
That's my little best friend, man. So he's Terry the third, man. That's my mini me. To your point, my son is my best friend, man. So even having boys, we got to make sure we showing them love. It's important.
Yeah, because we got to show them how to balance it. We got to
Yeah,
show our sons how to be masculine, but how to be sensitive as well. Because when they're with handling their sisters, or when they meet their girlfriend, or they meet their wife, they'll be able to show emotion, be able to show feeling, and be able to understand that woman. Because I can understand my wife at times because I was able to be sensitive. I know how to be sensitive, and I also know how to be masculine. So I like hearing dads answer this question. I like to see the facial expression when I ask this question. What's the best part of being a father?
oh man.
There you go.
You know what, Nate? I tell you, man, is I have fun. The best part about being a father for me is knowing. I mean, we touched on it a little bit, but knowing that God blessed and even gave me the opportunity to be in a father, man. Like I'm excited that He did that. But then to see these little faces, man. And you mentioned your son's a daddy's boy. I got three. All of them are daddy's kids. My girls are daddy's girls, Nate. It's to the point where I mean they got a playroom, they got a swing set, they got trampoline, but for some reason they love being up under me, man.
Hmm.
They gas me up. I mean, even when I'm dancing, it's go daddy, go daddy. I mean, no matter what, it's like I got my own personal cheer team, and I think they're that way with me, Nate, because of my relationship with my children.
Hmm.
Even having younger children, I thought it was important that I talk to my kids. I have conversations with my kids. We talk about what are some things that dad may have did to upset you this week. What are some things that
Oh, I
you
like that.
maybe what are some things you didn't like? And that's because I care. And I think my kids know that I'm not just a parent. I know everybody's parenting is different, but I'm a parent, but I'm also their friend. I want them to feel comfortable coming to me to have conversations with me about whatever's on their mind. We live in a time now, Nate, where I feel like a lot of kids are just keeping stuff in internally.
Hmm.
And as parents, we have to be counselors in a sense. We have to be able to have conversations with our kids. And I'm just so grateful that I feel like my kids, just like my wife, I mean, I was blessed, man, with my whole family. I got a family full of best friends because we can talk to each other about anything. We have fun together. And when I look into their eyes, man, I just see the pureness of them having a great childhood, of them being loved, of them, really not on no spoiled stuff, man. But I look into their eyes and be like, man, they have it good in the sense that they're kids, but they have relationships with their parents where we can get into it as we talk, man. But I know I talked to my dad one time, and my dad was one of 13 kids. And
Wow.
one thing that he shared to me was he had to try to get attention from his parents or go to his parents to get their time because there's 13. So when there's
Hmm.
13 kids, you're spreading your love a little different. That doesn't mean his mom and dad didn't love him, but if they had 13 kids, he
Right.
had to almost go and try to make time for his parents and look, I want to spend time or do this versus right now these are my three in my house and I'm able to give them all of the time in the
Hmm.
world right now, man. So it's like you don't think about some of that stuff, but the fact that my kids have that and they don't have to divide their time up is something that a lot of people don't think about. I take my daughters on dates where we go out and I try to spend time with each of my kids separately. So as I do that, I get to know each of my kids, not just always as a collective, but individually. What makes them happy? What makes them sad? And we truly spend time together, man. So, a long story short, I know you asked one question. What do I
Oh no,
enjoy?
you good, man. I'm loving it. I'm sitting here
But
getting advice myself.
But Nate, I truly have fun with my family. I mean, if you follow my Instagram, anybody sees, I'll do TikToks and stuff with my daughters. Man, that's something we started during the pandemic. With social media, I don't say I didn't trust. I didn't want my daughters on those sites by themselves. So as
Hmm.
a parent, I said, I get it. You guys want to see that stuff? I'm gonna do it with you. So I would control what they saw on TikTok. And man, we started having fun. We would laugh at the jokes and stuff on there. We would imitate dances and start doing them together and that became our bonding time. And I think it's important that even as kids, we have fun together. They will remember these moments. And I share the videos, Nate, not for the likes, not for the following, but it's almost as I want to create this time capsule for my kids to be able to come back and look at it and be like, man, I used to have fun with dad. Me and dad used to dance. We used to do this. And I'm creating memories. I'm creating memories not just for myself, but I'm creating it for my daughters, for my son, for my wife. So we'll always have something we can come back and look on. So to answer your question, I have fun. So that's probably the best thing, man. As a father, I get to have fun, but I also get to be the father that I know they need. And that's filling and fills my cup up, man. Again, I'm not perfect. I never try to claim I am. I'm still learning every day as I go through this journey. But I'm grateful that I'm the father that I am. And I'm grateful for the past experiences in life that has allowed me to be the father and made me want to be the father that I am today too.
That's awesome, man. And I feel the same way because I have my own welcoming committee when I come home with my son. As soon as he hear the garage door open, that door opens the garage. All I hear is daddy, 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 daddy.
Ain't no
Daddy.
better feeling than that, Nate.
So ain't no benefit. And I walk in the door, he's standing there, and then he running first. Say, daddy, can we play? I'm like, bud, can I get in the house first? Then can we play? So
that speaks volume on you, Nate. I mean, just even listening to you, man, that shows how great of a father you are, that your kid gets excited when you come through the door. So when we talk about what excites you, what you enjoy, those feelings right there, man, after a long day of work, after everything you've been through, it's that feeling of there's this child that loves me, that cares for me, that wants me, that appreciates me. And that feeling is indescribable, man. And for you to get that, again, not all dads get that when they get home. You know what I mean? So the fact that your son does that, man, that should give you confirmation on a daily that you're a great father.
So how important are a father's words to his children?
Oh man, you speak life into kids by what you say. We talked about actions, man, but I think words are just as powerful, Nate. As I shared with you, affirmations, those are around my house. They're not just for me. My kids read them too, because I feel like you have to hear it. You have to see it. I mean, and that could be something as you're beautiful, right? If they see that and they read that, those words will eventually be what they believe. So I think what we're doing right now is we're pouring into our children with the words that we say. Our words are powerful. If you tell your kids that they're this or they're that, they will believe it. And that's even from me telling my daughters they're princesses, right? And my daughter at one point in time was like, Daddy, but I'm not a real princess. And I said, you are a real princess. What makes a real princess? And I had to try to explain. I'm like, you are that. You are everything that a princess is. And I want her to believe that. So then that way, as she gets older, she believes in herself that she's beautiful no matter what she looks like, no matter what happens. She always in her mind is, I'm a princess, right? So whatever man, and although I don't want to think about it down the line, you know what I mean? They're going to have to treat her like a princess because I'm pouring that into her. I'm saying it. I'm telling her I love her. I'm not going to let the first little boy she sees be like, I love you. You look good. She hears that from her father. These are words that I'm telling her because I want her to believe it now. So when we talk about, how powerful words are, man, they are, because what we say, they believe. And I mean that if you think about it, that's thinking about like the Santa Claus, the little things that we make up as for kids. It starts with that, and they start believing, right? Their pure minds believe it. But it's the same thing with the words that we pour into them. They will believe those as long as they live. If we're pouring the right things into them, we're saying these things, they'll start saying it and believing it, man. So I think our words as parents are powerful. We have to think about it. You mentioned it. You think about what you say before you say something with your wife. But same thing. I'm consciously even thinking about what I say in front of my children. I mean, even something as simple as like saying that's stupid, right? I try not to say certain things. And again, I'm human. I mess up. But every now, if I know I'm getting ready to say something, like, ooh, I don't want them to say that. I don't want them to think about it. Because, again, words are powerful, and I don't want them to believe some of that stuff too, man. So we got to pour positive energy into our kids, man. And I think it starts with us. It starts within our home. We can't put all the pressure on the teachers and everybody else out there. We have to do it inside of our own house. And you talked about, praying. I mean, we got to make sure we're praying with our kids and letting them know there's power in prayer. You touched briefly on it in my weight loss journey, man, but I was big on talking to my kids about my weight loss journey, telling them about it, talking to them about the process, what I was going through, how I was going through it, why it's important. Because I wanted them to know, I wanted them to hear it, I wanted them to believe it. Then they got an opportunity to see me doing that journey as I went through my weight loss transformation, man. And every day they would talk to me, and it starts to, well, daddy's gonna eat healthy, daddy likes healthy stuff, daddy, you know what I mean? But it was my words, but it was my actions, and they
Yeah.
took in both of them.
Our words. I like to go back to the Bible when the fathers in the Old Testament, their words define their children's futures.
Yes.
The children were what the father said they were going to be. And it's just amazing. And I take that back to now, how I do this confession with my son every morning. I tell him, he says, I am great. I am a champion. I can do anything. Jesus loved me. I'm a Holloway. I'm a leader, not a follower.
That's
I will
dope.
do great things. We do it every morning till yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes. Yesterday we were leaving to go downstairs to go to church. And he said to me, Daddy, confession. And to just see him, I normally say it with him every morning, but this morning I didn't say it. I hadn't said it yet. I know we're doing we get in the car, but he said, Daddy, confession. And it made me proud because he knows that that's what we say
Yeah.
every day before I drop him off at school. And if you tell me, say, Caleb, he was in Taekwondo, and this was like a couple years ago when we started Taekwondo, and one of the instructors said, Caleb, you do that so well. How are you so well at that? He said, because I'm a Holloway.
Hey,
And I was like,
pass over the
yes,
habits, man. I mean, what you
yes.
did, it instilled in him, man, and that's
And
dope to hear.
I try to instill it in him because I want him to know that he's great and that when he grows up, he can do anything. He said to me one day, he said, Daddy, you said I can do anything, right? I said, yeah. He said, but I can't lift up this couch. I said, you will be able to one day. So I said, but hey, how can you? I say, don't say you can't do something. Figure out how can I do it? Ask yourself, how can I do it? I said, I tell you what, I'm gonna lift this end up, you lift that part up. I did most of the work, but I said, see, you
But
lift
it
the
allowed
couch,
him to
right?
believe, man.
Yeah. I said, but you did it with daddy, but you still lifted the couch.
That's
See, so
dope.
you can do that. And so we have to, our words go into our children's future.
Yes,
Our
sir.
words follow them to our future. I never met my biological father, but my godfather who helped raise me, I hear his words now. He had a motto, looking good and smelling good. You had to be dressed to the nines when you left the
Yeah.
house. You had to wear cologne. He pay your bills like breathing. Things he said, even though I mean I've done everything,
Yeah, but you remember it. It was
but
instilled in
I
you, and you
remember
never
it
forget it.
because all that's coming back to me now with my son.
Yes,
Every
sir.
because he said to me, Daddy, why do we always have to go to the barbershop all the time? I said, because Papa said this is what we have to do. This is what Holloway men do. And those things, and or Papa said this, or another mentor said this, or I get those advice from my mentors, but it's those key things that I hear now that's coming back to me
Yeah.
that I'm giving him, and I'm telling him, even like now, I watch my words to him because at 40, was it 40, 41, I found my biological father on YouTube. I found his Facebook page. I reached out to him. His last word he said to me was, "Why don't you leave me alone?" Now those words still stick with me today. They affected me as a 40-year-old, 41-year-old man.
Yeah.
So those words, if his words, my biological father affected me at 41, what did my words do for my son at 6?
Yeah.
And I think if a lot of dads would realize that and understand that, any parents in general will understand the words you speak into your kids are going to define them and define who they become. I think things will change. I think this world could change. The kids' futures can change,
Absolutely.
because of the father's words and the parents' words to them.
You said a whole word there, Nate. If I had an offering plate, I'd pass something over to you right now. Man, 'cause yeah, I mean, but it's all true, man. I think that's important for us as fathers. To your point, our words are powerful, no matter what age we may be.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry you had to go through that, but what I'll tell you, man, that the biggest blessing is look at the father you are now.
Yes.
And the way our God works is sometimes, right, we may not understand the things that he puts us through. And I think the same about my life at times, but I would say we had to go through those things to be where we're at now. I'm a
Hmm.
firm believer that everything happens for a reason. While we may not have loved it, um, look at you. You're doing a father's authority. You're bringing fathers together. So what you may have lacked in one, you're gaining in a whole community, man. That is going to be surrounded with love around you, man. So I couldn't be more proud of listening to you talk, man, about your experience and then how you've used that to motivate you to be an amazing father. And now you got a son that runs with excitement to see you get home, that talks about being a Holloway because of the words that you spoke from the example that you've led. What an amazing man. What an amazing man, Nate. So I want to give you your roses while we're on here, man. I think
Oh, thanks, man.
it's amazing, man. It's good to hear that you're not just doing this for a podcast. You're doing this because it truly means something to you, and you
Yes.
can tell it comes from the heart, man. I tell you what, God got some big things in store for you, Nate. I don't know what it is yet, but you keep listening to him and doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. And I tell you what, you're gonna make an impact in this world.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. I'm about to send you an offering over there. But that's what it's about, man.
Yeah,
Like you and I talked before, um, in pre um the show, that it's about dads, man, coming together. If we could change the fathers, we could change the world.
the whole world, man.
You know,
The whole
if we
world.
could change, for everything starts with the father. Hitler, his dad said something to him to make him who he is, or didn't say something to him. Racism, it starts with a father telling his son, "You're better than this certain race of people. This certain race of people beneath you," or daughter. It starts with that. Everything starts with the words of a father. Even let's look at fatherhood's leadership. Let's look
Yeah,
at the leaders of our country. You
yeah.
know, and things they say and do, people that follow them. And I think if we realize that, if fathers around the world realize how powerful they are, their authority is in their words, man, it could change
Change the whole
the
game,
world.
man. But here go the thing, man. We gonna get there. It ain't an overnight process, but I'll tell you
Right.
the pandemic, it definitely woke me up in my purpose, man, and it's allowed me to connect with so many other dope fathers out there, including yourself, Nate. And I think a lot of us we have the same desires. We want to change the
Hmm.
world. We want to change an impact, but it's gonna take us having these conversations to push ourselves. I was talking to a dad the other week. His name is a dad coach on Instagram. You guys follow him, and one of the things that he said was there could be a deadbeat dad in the home, and I had never thought about that. Right?
Yeah.
Mean, I think about if you're a dad, you're present, you're all it is, but you could still be a deadbeat in the house. So it's like it challenges us, man, and I'm surrounded by dads that challenge me every day, man. Is even some of the things that I'm doing now, Nate, with social media, with the podcast and everything. I never want to take myself away from my family because then I am becoming an internal deadbeat because I'm so concerned about showcasing this and that, and
Yeah.
I'm missing out with time with my kids. So I think I've been more intentional about making sure that look, I can say no every now and again, or I can say I'm gonna have to push it back a month or a week or whatever it may be, because spending time with my kids and being present is more important to me. I actually used to do stand up comedy, Nate, and one of the
Okay.
reasons I stopped doing that was because I didn't want to be out at open mics and stuff and missing important, valuable time with my kids. And it was important to me that I was present. So where people all the time, man, T, why you don't do comedy? You stop doing, it'll be there. Jokes will be there. This world is hilarious.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when my kids get older and they don't want nothing to do with me, and they want to go with their friends and do sports or something like that for some reason, then I can get back into it. But right now, it's important for me to be intentional with the time that I spend with my wife, my 8-year-old, my 6-year-old, and my 3-year-old, because this is all crucial time for those young kids, man. And right now can really change the trajectory of how they view life. So I think it's important for us to be present, but really be present, not just in the household,
Right.
but being
Yeah.
present in the sense that we're spending time, we're praying, we're talking, we're having conversations. But I was just saying at the same, man, we, as fathers, we got to continue to challenge each other, right? And make us think about things that maybe we could be doing better and growing, because we can't. There's no perfect father out there, and if it is, show me, besides God, there's not any other perfect father out there. So we can always grow and push each other to get better. And that's through community. That's through sharing positive words of affirmation, motivating, stuff as simple as commenting on the post and being like, man, nice job, I see you. We got
Yeah.
to do that more as men, where sometimes we get caught up in, does it make me look soft or weak? Or forget it. If I see you doing something good, I'm gonna tell you I see you. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm giving roses, man, because at the end of the day, that's gonna help us all grow in this community. But to your point, if we do it and we do it together, we got the power to change the world.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to, man. To your point, you said something that I love is that we got to comment on each other, encourage each other on your posts. Comment. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start going down and following, and I can be one to say I haven't been doing, but just start commenting. Hey, man, love what you're doing,
Yep.
liking it, posting, following.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll put stuff that guys post on my stories, but not interacting, and I
Yep.
think we
And
do
it's,
that
and
as
it's okay.
dads.
There's nothing wrong. I'm just saying that we
Yeah.
hear that more as men, right? As men, we
Yep.
don't. We say I see you, but it's like, are we showcasing and being like, man, nice job. I see you drop 5 pounds. I see you drop 10 pounds.
Hmm.
Because as men, we need that too. Women, they do it all the time. They are constantly encourage each other and oh girl, I see you. But as men, how often are we taking a moment to just say, hey Nate, you're doing a good job. Hey Nate, hey, I see what you did in the gym today, man. Nice work, right? Because then
Yeah.
that motivates us to keep going. If I see you with your kid, hey, man, I like the fact that y'all went to the movies. It looked like y'all had a great time. That may encourage another father to be like, man, I want to do that with my son. So it's like we see it, but we got to do better job at telling each other, man. That's one thing I've challenged myself with, Nate. I'm just like that. I haven't always been the best with doing that, but now I try to. Now, if you see me, if I'm commenting that, I'm putting keep inspiring underneath people's posts because I want you to keep inspiring. I want you to keep doing what you're doing because you may have 100 people that scrolled past and looked at it, smiled and laughed, but did they tell you? So I want to be that person that tells you you're doing a good job and keep going because that might be the motivation you needed that day to where you'd be like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing the father's authority, right? But then that
Right.
one day somebody commenting being like, hey man, I watched last night's episode, it really touched me. That's confirmation to be like, man, I got to keep going. Somebody out there needed to hear this.
Yeah. And then I was at that point one time where I was about to. This is gonna be the third season of it, and right after the first season, going into the third season, it was football season, and I was doing it all that year, and it got to September, and I was doing them on Monday nights, and it's like September hit, the viewership went down.
Yeah.
Nobody was logging on because it was football, and I didn't think about that at first. When I was doing, and I kind of got discouraged. But my wife encouraged me, and I had some other dads that said, "Man, you're doing a great job. We love what you're doing. It's needed. Keep it going." But I hadn't told anybody that I was thinking about stopping it. But I
Yeah.
just had other dads encouraging me, said, "Man, there's a blessing." I had dads say, "Man, you know what? I see you with your son, and it inspired me." These are guys that got grown kids.
Yeah.
Like, man, I see how you are with your son, man. I love it. You inspired me to be a better dad. I'm just like, huh? I'm like, okay. So then that pushed me to keep going. And now then year two went by. Now we're going into season 3. But those are things that I believe we need as fathers. That encouragement, community of dads need that. Like you said, women do it all the
They do.
time. You see women
Yeah.
coaches online. I used to be like, oh, I coach women to be successful and coach. I do this for women. I do that for women. My tribe of women, but you don't see that a lot of the time with men.
Oh man, I mean, yeah,
That
yep, yeah,
you don't see that.
right. I mean, yeah, we got to do better. That's all. But
We gotta
again,
do better.
if we have these conversations and we talk about it, we putting it out there, it gives us an opportunity on some things that maybe we didn't even know or think about, man, to get better with, right? So we do. We just got to get better. We have these conversations, man, and I think the more we have these podcasts that you're doing on your channel, man, as well as other fathers, man, if we have these open dialogues and stuff like that, we realize a lot of us we want the same things, we doing the same things. We just got to continue to push each other and support each other. And to your point, man, we'll definitely make an impact.
We definitely will, man. We definitely will. So What's the best piece of advice you've received from your father?
So it wouldn't be words, man. My dad is a man of action.
Mhm.
Um, my dad is one that got up every morning at 6 a.m. to work in the Honda's Marysville plant, getting up, doing manual labor to make ends meet. So I think watching him and his work ethic and knowing my dad is not one to tell you, I mean, he's getting better as I got older, but he wasn't one as a kid, man, that would be, I love you, I'm this, I'm that. He showed through action, right? I could pick up my phone and be like, hey, dad, I got a flat tire, and in 20 minutes he'll be there. If I say I needed help with something, he showed his love and affection through action versus verbally. At one
Okay.
point in my time, Nate, I thought I needed it verbally, and I had to realize it didn't mean that my dad didn't love me. It just meant he didn't show it the way that I thought I needed it. So I think for me, it's watching his actions and realizing that he may not show or say the things that maybe I wanted him to say, but he's always showed it. As I reevaluate my life and think about some of the things and being like, man, I wish my dad would have did this. I think about what he did do, and I think about the action that he showed to be able to provide the actions and stuff that he did on an everyday basis of working in a factory for 30 years to be able to retire. But he's a manly man. He's not an affectionate guy, and that's no fault to his own. As I mentioned to you, he had 13 or 12 other brothers and sisters. So the way that they loved in their household is a little bit different than what I may have wanted.
Okay.
The older I got, the more I had to realize my dad wasn't a bad dad. My dad was a good dad. He loved the way that he knew how to love. And I think he shows his love through actions.
Okay.
So
That's good.
yep. I never heard the words. I think I might have been 20 something years old in my mind where I've heard the words "I love you," right? And not to say he didn't. I know he did. I just don't remember hearing it that often from him. But I know that he showed it. He showed it with his actions. So my dad is a man of actions. And again, I could pick up this phone and not to get too deep into it, but I could go 3-4 weeks without talking to my dad. If I call him right now and say, "Hey, Dad, I need you," he'll be over here in 10 minutes. But that's the kind of man that he is. He's a man of action, and that's how he shows his love.
So how did that shape your fatherhood and make you the father that you are now? Because you say you speak to your children, you talk to your
Yep,
children, you speak to a lot of children.
you
How
got
did
it.
that shape that?
Because I wanted that as a
Okay.
kid. I felt like I wanted that. I would see, I mean, I would even think about when I first went to college and I saw some of my friends' dads call and how's school going and doing that stuff, and they were more maybe wordy where my dad wasn't. I mean, I'm like, I want to hear it. I want to hear my dad get off the phone and say I love you, and
Hmm.
I missed that. I didn't have an opportunity to get that as much as I would have wanted to, which made me, because I felt like I lacked that. I was like, I want to make sure that I tell my kids that so that way they never feel that. And then it took me, growing up in life and realizing, like, again, it wasn't that he didn't. He's just not an emotional person when it comes to that. He's a
Gotcha.
man. He is a manly man of men, and he shows his action through. I mean, shows his love through action. And because he didn't, I always say, like, I want to make sure, even with my son, that he hears it, because I knew that that's something that I wanted to hear. So I
Got you.
use that as motivation, Nate, to say, again, I wanted to make sure that my son heard it, and then when he grows up, he never had to question it again. And when I say it, I didn't necessarily question the fact that I just never heard it as much, and I knew I wanted to hear it.
Got you.
Where my mom is, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I mean, very, very emotional. Um, my dad is emotion through action. So I had two different sides. And as a kid, I thought, because I didn't hear from him, one thing. And the older I got, the more I realized, like, he shows it just in a different way.
Got you. That's how he knew how
That's how,
to
yeah.
show it. Yeah, from that age, that era. You
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
and it was really us having a conversation one day, Nate, where he told me, like I said, being one of 13 kids, you're kind of you're stretching to get your parents' love. It's hard for one parent or two parents to give 13 children that's all in the house the same amount of love and trying to do it that way. So when he put into that perspective for me on how he was raised, it definitely opened up my eyes to maybe what I thought, and being like, man, like, I guess I couldn't imagine being one of 13 and trying to make time for every single kid and different things like that. But then as I thought back on my life, I'm like, any given time I've ever needed him, he's been there.
Mm.
Whereas we may not talk every day, we may not talk every week, but if I was to pick up the phone right now, but hey, Dad, my sink won't work. My dad, he's a handyman. He's a man that fixes all, right? So he's one that, again, I think he loves being wanted and feeling the need of, like, my kid,
Mm.
they need me. So that for him, it's I'm right over there. But if I don't call, then maybe we may not talk as much. But if the moment I need something, that's the way he shows his love, is to be like, I'm gonna be there for you whenever you need me.
Got you. Got you. So that goes to my next question. What's an important piece of advice you've given to your children?
Oh man, the most important piece that I give to my children is that, a lot of people say it, man, but I want my children to truly know that they can be and do whatever they truly put their mind to. Um, and I think it's important, as we talked about words being powerful. I want my kids to believe that there's so many different careers, there's so many different things in this world, and I want them to know that truly you can do it, no matter what it is. Whether it's, you want to be a gymnast, whether you want to be the first, woman president of the United States, whatever it may be, sky is the limit. And I hope that I show my kids that the sky is truly the limit of what they can do. They can really do whatever they put their mind to. And I try to talk to them about it on a day to day, man, is, what are you doing? What do you want to be? What did you learn today? Because I truly want them to know that they truly have the power to be whatever they want to.
That's good. That's going. We, like I said, we gotta tell them that because they're gonna do it
Yeah.
because you tell them. So a funny
Yeah.
story. My son, we were it was Thanksgiving, and his niece was here, my in-laws were here, and we were watching the Macy's Thanksgiving parade. And Santa came on, and my mother-in-law was like, "Hey guys, Santa's on TV." And his cousin ran down, "Santa Claus, Santa Claus." He come down step, "Santa's not real. He's not real. Your parents buy your gifts. Your parents buy." They said, "Why you said?" "Because my dad said so. He's just a man in a Santa suit." I was like, "Oh my
Hey,
god!"
them kids, kids and old people, they ain't gonna never sugarcoat that. They're gonna tell you the whole.
Right? Yeah, they're gonna tell you everything, man. But he was like, "Santa's not." He came right and said, "Santa's not real." So I had to talk to him because he got friends whose parents are big on the kids not knowing that Santa's not real.
Yeah,
So I said, "But don't say that around them. That's them. That's what they believe. This is what we believe." So what
yeah,
I did was I felt I could talk to him about the origin of Santa. So I said, Santa Claus is a real person, but that Santa don't come through chimneys and all that stuff, but we buy your gifts. But Santa, I basically, the person in the suit is Santa. He said, "Yeah, Dad." So it's just somebody pretending to be Santa.
yeah.
I said, "That's it, but."
That's like when I took my kids Nate to see a black Santa one year. They looked at me and was like, "That ain't the real Santa. Santa not black." I said, "Oh man, here I go trying to give them the culture Santa, and they like, Dad, you're not about to be taking us to this fake Santa."
But it's funny because I think my son figured out on his own one day. We were living in an apartment. He said, "Dad, how does Santa bring us our gifts if we don't have a chimney?" It's like, I said, so I had to go through. I said, "Well, son, he's going to come through the door, but aren't we going to hear him when he comes in?" I was like, "Okay, Santa's not real, son. Let's talk about
You done took me down the path I wasn't trying to go down, but since you
right,
asked,
right." I'm not gonna lie to you, but since you want to know, so yeah, so man, what does leaving a legacy mean to you?
oh man, that to me is probably one of the best questions you done asked all night, man. I've enjoyed them all, but leaving a legacy to me is really why I do what I do, man. And when I think about leaving a legacy, I think about what people, more importantly, my children here will remember when I'm not here. And a legacy to me is what I've instilled in them, not just in words, but in values and action. Because that is, as you talked about your pawpaw, I got one of the same relationships with my papa, man. My papa played a huge role in my life, and I still hear his voice. I still, as you were talking about the smell good, I still remember what he smelled like. I still remember the way he combed his hair, man, the way he was
Mm.
very well groomed, dressed up on Sundays. I remember the things that he would tell me, and he was one that he wasn't big on words, military man, but he loved his family. And even with him being, not here for, over 10 plus years, I still remember his legacy. I
Mm,
still, as I'm a father, I still think about, man, am I making my papa proud? Am I doing the things that I know that he would be happy about, man, because he was just such an amazing man. So as I think about legacy, I think about my papa. That's one of the first things that come up in my mind is my papa. The legacy that man lived was one that he raised, 5 children. He led by example. He was a husband. He was a father. He was in the military. He was, a mason. I mean, he was so many different things. But I can still smell him. I can still see the things that
mm,
he's done. I still remember the things that he taught me about being a man to this day. And that's because he left a legacy to where when I think legacy, he's been gone for all of these years, but there's certain things I'll never forget. So now as a father, I think about what will my children say about me? What is the legacy that I'm leaving? And I think for me, there's so many things I want them to know. Man, I had a dad that not only taught me things, a dad that loved me beyond measure, but also
yeah.
the dad that had fun with me. I again, I'm big on. I get, some people say kids got to stay in kids' places, man, but I have fun with my kids, and I want them to be able to have fun with me, man. So at the end of the day, I want them to be like, man, my dad he loved me. He was fun. He could dance. He could do this. He could do that. But he taught me that I could be anything I want to be. He called me a princess and said I was a princess. He taught me how to love people. He taught me how to treat people. And that's people of all races, of all backgrounds, of everything. I want them to know that at the end of the day, you have an opportunity to love people. You have an opportunity to pour out positive energy into the world. And even with them being kids, their voices are powerful. So I want my legacy to be, if it could be as half as strong as my papa's was, I've done good.
That's good. That's good. And that's I love the legacy, man, and leaving legacy and how legacies got passed down from generation to generation. For me, I never really had a family legacy, but I said I'm starting a new one.
Yep.
With my son. I said that it ends with whatever, by my father not being there, and that part it ends with, and I start a new legacy with my son. I tell people I'm building a new legacy of Holloway men, where they're going to be with their families. They're going to be great fathers. They're going to be great men, and I'm creating a new legacy with my son. And I love it for me because I've had the opportunity to have different values from different father figures poured into me for me to form the legacy that I'm forming with my son. Because my godfather, who was best friends with my grandfather, who my grandfather was an entrepreneur. That's why I learned about being an entrepreneur. My godfather took over from my grandfather, and then after that, my spiritual father took over, and then I had another godfather that came into my life as an adult that
Oh,
took
wow.
over, and all these things that these men have taught me, I've taken pieces of those things and I'm creating a new legacy with my son, that I'm starting the things I'm doing with him that I've always wanted to do, where traditional things. Like I'm trying to now, I think I'm gonna do when he turned 8. Well, I'm gonna start doing, and we're gonna do a father and son trip every year. Where that's my dream for me and my son, for us to do a father son trip, whereas me and him, we take a trip, whether we get on a plane and go somewhere, or we do it, in Charlotte, in Carolina.
I like.
But I want for me and him, that's our tradition, where we take a father son trip and we go somewhere and we talk, we have fun, whether we drive, whether we ride a plane, or what. But it's he and I, and we just go, and give me time to have teachable moments with him, give him time to talk to me, and that's just us. And that's a legacy that I want, and that's something I think a lot of I don't know, but most black fathers don't do.
Yeah.
because
I'll be honest, as you just said it, Nate. I was like, I hope Nate ain't gonna be mad when he see me and my son do our father-son trip. I like that idea, man. I mean, he only 3 right now, but when he gets older, man, to your point, man, I didn't think about nothing like that, man. But I think that's important to have those
yeah,
moments. Like I said, I do dates, but to do a whole trip, man, I think that's something special, and I think that's just something that he will always remember. And you
hmm,
said it, give him teachable moments, right? I mean,
yep,
not only will you go on a vacation and have fun, but that's your one-on-one time, no matter what, every year to provide those teachable moments, man. So I'm telling you to your face, I'm jacking that idea, Nate. I hope you're mad at me. I'm stealing it.
look, we may pass by each other, so we may run into each other
Yeah,
somewhere. You
yeah.
know, our kids like, man, ew, I
Be on the
knew
father
it.
son trip. I see you on yours, man. So I
There
definitely
you go.
that'll be valuable, Nate. And I told you before, man, but I think moments like that, man, are moments that our sons need to hear, they need to see, and you doing it, man. Even the fact that you talking about you wanting to do stuff with your son like that, I would say this is something, and you mentioned you don't know all black fathers, but this stuff that we don't see. I mean,
Yeah.
I can sit here and count how many times I've ever been on a vacation with my father. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't think about that stuff, but I think it is valuable and it's important to be like, okay, I have an opportunity to change that. And these are some things that, while I mentioned my papa, I want to be able to not just live his life, I want to instill my own values too. But he just left such a great example that now it's like, man, I want to instill some of those things, but also paint my own canvas, if that makes sense too.
Oh, definitely makes sense, man. You talked about earlier about being present, and like you said, you gave up comedy um, to be with your kids. We have to do that. We can't be so caught up in what we want to do and what we're trying to build that we neglect
Yep.
them. I'm the associate pastor at my church, and I would say I can't be somewhere or do something because my son may have he's in taekwondo. His taekwondo graduates to the next belt. I have to be there. He
Yep.
looks for me to be there. There are times where I may have to work on a Saturday, but I'm to the point now where hey, can we switch?
Yeah.
So I can be there because he looks for me to be at his stuff. When he goes to swimming class, I take him to swim. My wife drop him off to me at my job right when I get off, and I take him swimming because he looks like because he'll say, "Dad, are you gonna be at swimming?" And if I say no, I'm not gonna be at swimming, because he looks for me to be there, and we have to be present with our kids. Man, I'm loving talking, man, tonight. This is a great
Absolutely, man.
conversation.
This has been dope, Nate. I
Yeah.
tell you, I'm grateful. Sometimes you don't know why God does certain things or why He sets stuff up, man. But there's a reason we was able to connect through social media and be able to connect today, man. I've walked away with a few things, not just the sun trip. You had some dope gems tonight, man, about just being a good father, man. And I'm excited to add you into my dad tribe, bro.
Appreciate it, man. I'm happy to be a part of it, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. But before we go, I need you to give some give maybe 1, 2 gems to dads out there.
Yep. I'll say be the father that you've always wanted. You have an opportunity to change the narrative of fatherhood, but also your children's lives. So be present, love on them children, tell them it, not just show them it, let them hear it come out of your mouth. I think it's important for our children to truly know that they're loved, that they're cared for. And so often our children, they don't hear it. So I think it's valuable for us to make sure we take a moment out of our day every day to just say I love you. Something that simple means the world. Continue to pour positive energy, continue to lead by example. Our kids are watching us, they're watching what we do, they're watching how we treat people, they're watching the words that we say, the things that we do on a day-to-day. So as I'm talking to the fathers that's out there, I tell you, lead by example, be the father you've always wanted, love your children, and keep inspiring in every single thing that you do on a day to day, because our children, they need us.
Man, thank you. That was awesome. Guys, if you're watching this, it's an awesome interview tonight. I know you enjoyed Terry, man. Thank you for being a part of this.
Absolutely.
Thank you for allowing me to interview tonight, man. I got some wisdom, some nuggets from you. You can take that father son trip, I do. You know, I give you permission to use
I
it.
appreciate you, Nate.
But
Yeah.
tell the people how they can find you and follow you.
Absolutely. Just the dope dad on Instagram. That's my personal Instagram. If you follow that, man, you're gonna see a little bit of everything: fatherhood, marriage, weight loss, the shimmy. You're gonna see it all, man. I truly just like to have fun through my social media. Be me. It's become therapeutic for me, man. So I don't do it for the likes. I don't do it for the follows. I do it because I'm just legit having fun on a day to day. So if you follow that, you're gonna get a little bit of everything. And I hope, if nothing else, I make you smile at some point as you follow me through my journey. I also have another page called Dope Black Dads LLC, and that's where I take a moment every morning and just post a positive word of affirmation to inspire fathers as we start our day. I will tell you, I got women that follow it too because the quotes can be used for everybody. But at the end of the day, my target audience was for fathers. I wanted something for us to be able to wake up with positive energy, positive vibes, and allow us to continue to pour into our children with some positive energy. And then the last one I have, Nate, is it's called My Bro Ain't Heavy. And that's an Instagram dedicated to men's weight loss, where I showcase men's weight loss transformations, share their stories. My purpose in that was me and my buddy Kid, who's lost a lot of weight as well. We came together and we're like, there's not a lot of men that talk about weight loss. So we showcase journeys on there. And our hope is that you see somebody that looks like you, no matter what your race, no matter what your size. We try to showcase everybody so then you can connect with that person, maybe figure out what they did, how they did it, and just put a spotlight on health in general. Because health is wealth. We didn't touch on it tonight, Nate, but I think we got to be healthy in order to be here for our kids. So that's important for fathers as well too. So I'm out here. I'm doing it all, but I'm having fun through social media, through all of those different pages. So any one of those, you can find me.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Guys, if you thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in. I need you guys to go. If you're watching this on YouTube, I need you to subscribe to our channel, Kingdom Relationships. Subscribe to our channel. Share this video to dads that you know need to see it. Go to iTunes. If you listen to the podcast on iTunes, I need you to subscribe. I need you to share, and I need you to rate this. We strive for fives. Give me nothing less than a 5. Give me 5 stars, 5 bars, 5, whatever you want. Just give me 5s because I know that you got something out this tonight. But guys, again, on a serious note, just we got to get this out. We got to get these conversations out to dad. So get on iTunes, get on YouTube, subscribe, share this podcast to others, and let me know what you think. You can email me at hello@kingdomrelationships.org to let me know what you think about the show. Let me know what you want me to talk about. If you got a dad you want me to interview, let me know. We'll talk about that. And just guys, again, love you. Thank you for joining us tonight and be victorious.